Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to demystify the climb to one of the most respected credentials in IT service management, the ITIL V3 Expert. So let's get our gear on and start the ascent. But first, let's ask a fundamental question. Why do we even need something like ITIL? I mean, think about it for a second. Managing modern IT is just incredibly complex, isn't it? It's way more than just fixing computers. It's this whole web of interconnected challenges. For starters, there's the most basic challenge of all, just keeping the lights on, making sure everything is running. Because when systems go down, the business grinds to a halt. Orders stop, customers get angry, and revenue just disappears. The pressure to keep things available is absolutely relentless. Then you've got the value problem. Companies pour tons of money into big IT projects, but how often do they really deliver what was promised, on time and on budget? Without a solid plan, these projects can turn into a massive black hole for money and resources, with almost nothing to show for it. And that brings us right to the money. The costs. From hardware and software to these crazy complex licensing deals and maintenance contracts, IT spending can just explode if you don't manage it with extreme care. To a lot of executives, it just looks like a box that constantly demands more and more cash. So you're facing all these challenges: availability, value, costs. How does anyone navigate this and actually lead their organization forward? Well, this is exactly where the ITIL framework comes into play. And it's not just a bunch of books. It's a map for the whole journey. And here is that map. This is the ITIL V3 Qualification Scheme. I know, it looks a little bit like a mountain you have to climb, and in a lot of ways, it is. But the great thing is, every single step is clearly defined. We're going to break down this climb tier by tier on our way to that expert level at the top. Okay, so every great climb starts somewhere, right? It starts at base camp. And for ITIL, that means building a solid foundation that everyone, no matter what their final goal is, has to start with. This right here is the ITIL V3 Foundation for Service Management. It is the absolute, non-negotiable first step. This course makes sure that everyone is speaking the same language, right? It covers all the core principles, the main concepts, and the terminology you'll need for the entire ITIL lifecycle. You simply cannot climb the mountain without it. Now here's where it gets really interesting. You don't just take one big exam to become an expert. It's actually based on a credit system. By passing that foundation exam, you've officially started your journey and you've banked your first 2 credits. The goal is 22, so we're on our way. All right, base camp is established, and we've got 2 credits in our pocket. Now it's time for the main ascent. This is the part where you get to choose your own path and gather the experience and the credits you'll need to keep climbing. So here's the deal. To move forward, you need to earn at least 15 more credits. That brings your total up to 17. And the beauty of this whole system is the flexibility. You can actually mix and match different specialized modules to build a path that perfectly fits your career goals. And those modules you can choose from fall into 2 different paths. Think of it like this. The lifecycle modules are for people who need that broad managerial view, the what and the why of service management. The capability modules, on the other hand, are for folks who need a deep, hands-on focus on the how. So let's take a closer look at the lifecycle path. This whole stream is about that big picture, 30,000-foot view. It's broken down into the 5 core phases of the service lifecycle, all the way from strategy to continual improvement. This is really the ideal path if you're an aspiring service manager or an IT leader who has to understand how the entire system works together. And then there's the capability path. This stream is for the practitioner, the person in the trenches doing the work. It dives super deep into clusters of related processes, things like releasing control or service offerings. This is perfect if you're a change manager, a technical specialist, or anyone who really needs to master the day-to-day details. Okay, so you've passed your foundation and you've gathered at least 15 credits from all those intermediate modules. You're standing at 17 credits, just below the summit. But there is one final mandatory challenge before you can claim that title of ITIL Expert. And this is it, the Managing Across the Lifecycle course, or as everyone calls it, MALC. This is so much more than just a final exam. This is the critical capstone that forces you to integrate everything you've learned. It's the test that proves you don't just know the individual spots on the map, but that you can navigate the entire territory, connecting all those technical processes to real business strategy. And you can see its purpose right here. MALC isn't about retesting you on individual processes. It's about high-level strategic thinking. You're going to tackle topics like managing strategic change, risk management, and understanding complex organizational challenges. It's the true test of an expert's mindset. So after you successfully conquer that MALC exam, you've done it. You've made it to the summit. But what does it actually mean to be an ITIL expert? Let's take a second and enjoy the view from the top. Let's just quickly recap that climb. Step 1, you get 2 credits from the ITIL Foundation. Step 2, you collect at least 15 more credits from those intermediate modules. Step 3, you conquer the MALC capstone exam. And with that, you hit a minimum of 22 credits and are officially awarded the ITIL Expert certification. And what does that title really say about you? Well, it's a powerful statement. It tells the world that you don't just know the individual parts, but that you have a comprehensive, deep understanding of the entire ITIL service lifecycle from beginning to end. But, for the truly ambitious, the view from the Expert Summit just reveals another, even higher peak. Achieving ITIL Expert is the mandatory prerequisite, the key really, to attempting the highest level of qualification in the whole scheme, the ITIL Master. The journey never really has to end. So that's the path. It is a structured, challenging, but incredibly rewarding climb. It gives you the tools to not just manage IT, but to turn it into a strategic powerhouse for any business. So that leaves just one final question for you. You've mastered the life cycle. What are you going to build with it?